Hi, and welcome to this new episode in which we're going to be talking about the subject of fear, and especially the fear of singing in front of others. So let's dive into it. Hi, and welcome to this new episode where we're going to be talking about fear, and especially the fear of singing in front of others. So this episode will be a little bit different than the most ones that I've put out there, because this is something, or this topic is something that came to me when I woke up this morning, and I was like, whoa, we need to be having these conversations. Because I notice that many singers that I work with, or many singers that are in our community, in the Singing Insiders, in our awesome membership for amazing singers, I notice that there's a common theme against all those singers. And that common theme is they have a big passion for singing. Maybe that's you. They want to share that with other people, whether that's on stage or being able to sing at home when someone else is home. They want to be able to share that. But there is a lot of fear holding them back. And those fears might manifest in different ways. The fear comes up like, oh, I don't want to be judged, or what I'm singing is not good enough, or I'm feeling nerves racing through my body whenever someone else is listening, or it's not perfect enough, perfectionism, right? So that's how that fear manifests. And maybe you have felt that in the past as well. Maybe you're feeling it right now. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. And I think we all have been there at some point. And that's why I want to talk about this, because this is such an important topic. And oftentimes that fear comes up because we relate to time in a certain way. Let me explain what I mean by that. And this is, by the way, a concept that I've learned from my own coach. And for me, when I first heard about this, it was such a brain twist. Like my brain was fried when I've heard this concept at first. But, you know, he started repeating it and it started making more and more sense. And now I'm still in the progress of living my life in this new way. And I already feel a massive shift and different for me personally. And that's what I want to share with you. So many people, they see time as something linear. There's the now. There's the present, there's the past that happened behind us, and there's the future, something that will happen in the future, so that's in front of us. Or on the linear time, we have the present, and then we have the past to the left, and the future to the right. That's how I used to see time, and that's how many of us see time. And that's where it's kind of holding us back. And let me tell you why. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. The only thing that we have is this moment right here. Can we agree on that? The past is not something that I can touch, that I can see. It's intangible. It doesn't exist. The future hasn't happened yet. It doesn't exist. So the only thing that we really have is right now. Now, oftentimes, and I'm going to guide it back to singing, well, let me give you an example. When we have something that is happening outside of our comfort zone, like, for example, singing on stage. So say you have a concert coming up and you're singing in front of 100 people tomorrow. That is something that will happen in the future. Okay? And oftentimes, we make predictions about that future. And those predictions about how the future will go is informed by our past. Let me give you an example. If in the past, you have sung on stage and you forgot your lyrics and it was a mess, everyone laughed at you, right? Our worst nightmare. If that happened in the past, then the person that you are in the now might predict that the same thing will happen in the future. That's how our brain is wired. Let me give you an example. Have you ever had that feeling that when you're walking down the stairs and you're on the last step, but you don't realize you're on the last step and you think there's another step coming, but there's not, and so you almost fall over your own feet? That's our brain in action, because our brain thinks there were steps in the past, so there's more steps to come. That's exactly how our brain is wired. There was failure in the past, so there's failure to come in the future. See, our brain is wired to keep us safe. So that's why it's thinking that way. It's not safe to fail. So my brain will say, hey, do you remember in the past, that past experience? That's going to happen again. Now, what my brain doesn't know is how beautiful that future can be and how magical that experience might be in the future. So that is where we need to choose to operate from a new future. Let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm in the present. I'm me right now. And I can either live in my default future, which is predicted by my past experiences, or I can choose to live in a better future. I can either choose to follow my default future and say to myself, oh, if I perform tomorrow, I'm gonna forget my lyrics, or people will laugh at me, or I will have a blackout. That could be one future I live into. Or I could say, oh, I'm performing tomorrow. I'm so grateful that I get to share and inspire other people with my singing, and it's going to be amazing, and I'm gonna enjoy that moment to the fullest, and I'm going to live my best life in the spotlight. That's a very different future. Now, how we think about the future creates who we are in the now. Let me say that again, because this is where all the puzzle pieces come together. Who we choose, or how we choose to operate from the future that we choose, creates the person that I am in the now. Let me give you an example. If I go into the default future of I'm going to fail tomorrow, then how am I going to act today? I might not do my practice. I might be stressing. I might be panicking. I might not call my vocal coach to have an extra practice, right? Those are the actions that the Maggie today takes if I'm living into I'm going to fail tomorrow. Okay? Now, if I'm living into tomorrow is going to be amazing and I'm going to have the best time of my life on stage, how am I going to be now? Well, the Maggie that lives into that future, she's going to be excited and pumped. She's going to invite friends. She's going to practice one last time and really enjoy the process of practicing, right? So my actions, my behaviors in the now will be completely different if I'm living into that bigger, brighter future. Does that make sense? So here's the thing. This is how we're going to bring it home. You get to choose what future you want to live into. And that's your homework for today. Think about if you continue to act in the way that you're acting now, if you continue to follow the behaviors that you're following now, what future are you living into? Is it the default future based on your past? Are you predicting the future based on your past? Or are you living into possibility? Are you living into that beautiful future where anything is possible? And who does that create you right now? That's your homework for today. First of all, identifying what future am I living into? And then second of all, identifying what future do I want to live into? Because that's where everything changes. That's your homework for today. And again, we can talk about vocal technique all day long. I can show you all the vocal techniques that you need to develop your voice. But if we are still operating from, I failed in the past, so I'm going to fail in the future, there's no point in me giving you all those vocal techniques. So this is the foundational work that we need to be doing first. And then we can move forward. So your homework is deciding what future am I living into now? And what future do I want to live into? Once you've decided that, then I invite you to my upcoming training called Discover the Most Powerful Vocal Technique. That's where we're going to dive deep into the technique side of things, using your voice in a healthy way. You can sign up for this free training using the link in the description down below. So that's your homework. First, the future. What am I living into now? Where do I want to live into? And then sign up for the free training to get the most out of that. So I'm looking forward to see you on that training. And thank you so much for having been here. Thank you for spending your time with me today. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye.